The interrelationship between living things. A riddle to solve. So from this you have to find out what is the name of that tree. Here the riddle is there about the tree. An age old tree with thick strong trunk. This is the trunk. This portion is known as the trunk of the tree. Trunk. So from this we have to find out the name of the tree. Gives deep dark shade from the scorching sun. The sun is very hot and the people here are taking shelter beneath the tree so that they can avoid the hot sun. Like an old man's bed, these roots, these are in fact roots coming from the branches. So they they appear like the bed of an old man. It has ropes. These are just like ropes also. The children can swing from one branch, from every branch. These are hanging from every branch. These roots are hanging from every branch. So the children can hold the root over here and they can swing in this direction. So which is this tree in the picture? This is a banyan tree. Banyan tree. Plants in our surroundings are useful to us in different ways. There are beetle vine, then the flame of the forest, pallas, the fenugreek or the methi ki bhaji, and then the vasaka, adulsa. Uh, this is taken when you suffer from cough. Then the curry leaf plant. The curry leaf is added to the curry in order to increase the flavor. Curry leaves. The need of the living things are met in the environment. The needs. There are so many needs. Like we need food in order to, whenever we are hungry. When we are thirsty, we drink water. Air, we breathe in air continuously without stop. And the clothes we wear, we cannot go out without clothes. And the shelter, this is the shelter. Shelter is a house where we get protection from the sun and the rain and the cold, outside cold weather. We can take shelter inside the house. All these are all these needs are met in our environment or in the surrounding. He is a tailor. He is stitching the cloth. This is the cloth. He is stitching the cloth with the help of the sewing machine. This is known as sewing machine. Then you have the plate. It has got lunch or dinner. It is having different food items. So this is basically food. Then you have water to drink. When you are thirsty, you need water. All these things are obtained from the surroundings only. In fact, food, water, air are the needs of all living things. They are all fulfilled in the environment. In our surrounding, we can get each and everything. But there are differences in the needs of each kind of living things. For example, the water that a mouse drinks in an entire day would not be enough for an elephant even at one time. So, a mouse is a very little, it may be so small, and the elephant is quite big, like this, huge. So, elephant will need lot of water. So, a mouse is very small compared to elephant. So his requirement of water is very less, but the elephant requires lot of water. Think about it. Butterflies feed on the nectar of flowers. You will find the butterflies fluttering on the flowers. So they try to find nectar. Nectar is a sweet liquid inside the flower. At the base of the flower, you have a clear, sweet liquid that is known as the nectar. The butterflies feed on the nectar of the flowers. Can a frog do the same? No. The frog do not have the ability to fly, and they cannot even peep into the flower. The flower nectar can be obtained only by butterflies or the other insects. A sheep eats the leaves of the shrubs. Sheep or a goat, even a goat or a cow, what do they eat? They eat the leaves of shrubs. Shrubs are small plants. Can a tiger do the same? Can it? Can the leaves be the meal for the tiger? No. Tiger kills the other animals and eats the flesh. The tiger cannot live on leaves. A fish can breathe in water. A fish can breathe in water. Can you go deep into the water and breathe? No. The water will enter your lungs through your nose. A fish can breathe in water. Can a pigeon do the same? No, it won't be able to do. Bulrushes grow in water. Bulrushes are plants which grow in water. Can a lemon tree do that? Can a lemon tree do so? No. It cannot grow in water. It needs land in order to grow. Lemon tree grows on land. Can you tell if a fish leaves the water? Will they be able to live on land? No, they will die because they have gills through which they breathe, and gills can obtain oxygen only through the water, the dissolved oxygen in water. As the water passes through the gills, the oxygen is absorbed by the gills. So that is the respiration of the fish. Remember one thing, a very important thing. Any type of living thing will be found only where all its needs are fulfilled. Where can you find a living thing? Wherever all its needs are fulfilled. It should get sufficient water to drink, sufficient food to eat, and proper temperature, climate, proper climate has to be there. A fish can live only in water, it cannot live on land. A bird can live only on land, it cannot live in water. So every type of living thing needs some specific requirements are there. For each and every type of living thing, the specific requirements are to be met. Only then it can live in that environment. So you have to remember, any type of living thing will be found only where all its needs are fulfilled. Let's take the example of a tiger. This tiger, it has got stripes. These are known as stripes. The linings are known as stripes. A tiger has stripes. A tiger lies in wait for its prey among tall grasses. So if there are tall grasses surrounding, all tall grasses are there. So the color of this grass is similar to the yellow color on the skin of the tiger. So it is a Camaf- camouflage. So the tiger, it waits among the inside the grass. It will wait inside the grass so that it will not be visible easily, even though we can spot it, but it is not so very easy to spot it. There are animals. There are animals like the deer, the nilgai, and the bison in the grasslands. When the tiger is hungry, it can feed on them. For a tiger, there also needs to be a water hole nearby, which never dries up even in the summer. There must be also the dense vegetation, tall grasses, or caves in hills or mountains in the area so that the tiger can find shelter. A tiger inhabits an area where all these things are available. So, what are the things available for the tiger? Let us again find out. It needs a water hole. Number one. Number one, it needs a water hole, which should never dry up even in summer. It needs dense vegetation. Dense vegetation means too many plants or grass. It needs tall grasses. Tall grasses. Number three, tall grasses. Number four, caves in hills or mountains. Why do it? Why does it need caves? For shelter. It can find shelter in it. So, if a tiger, if it inhabits an area where all these four things are available, one, the water hole has to be there. It should not dry up in summer. Two, dense vegetation has to be there. Three, tall grasses. Four, caves in hills or mountains where it can take shelter. So these are the four requirements for the tiger to inhabit in certain place. Now you can see the four things. The tiger. This is the tiger. 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 And what are the four requirements? The water hole, which should not dry up. Water hole. Then the tall grass. Tall grass in which it can hide. Then it needs food. So this is the prey. This deer is a prey for him. Prey. Prey. So the tiger will kill the prey and eat it in order to satisfy its hunger. Then it needs shelter. Shelter in a cave. This is the cave. Cave. A tiger can find shelter in the cave. This is the mountain. This is the mountain. Mountain. So these are the requirements for a tiger to inhabit in an area. Can you tell from where do we get silk? We get silk from silkworm. Silkworm. Silkworm inhabit mulberry tree. Mulberry trees. The caterpillar feeds on the leaves of the mulberry tree. On the leaves of mulberry tree. And it forms a cocoon from which we get the silk. How are trees useful for monkeys? Monkeys climb up the tree and take shelter on the trees so they can protect themselves from the animals like tigers and lions. How are trees useful for birds? Birds can build their nest. The tree provides protection to the nest from rain and wind and sun. So the birds can build the nest and stay in the nest on the branches of the trees. Fourth question: what happens if termites make a tree hollow? Suppose this is the tree and termites, they start eating the inside of the trunk. So everything eaten up. So it becomes hollow. So it becomes very weak. And whenever there is breeze or a wind, this will get cut off and the tree will fall down. We keep animals in order to satisfy some of our needs. These needs can be food, milk, eggs, or it can be mental satisfaction. These animals become dear to us. We look after them well. We feed them. We take them to a vet. A vet is a doctor of the animals, a veterinary doctor. So we take them to a vet if they fall ill. These animals too return our affection. They also start loving us. We get milk, meat, eggs, and several other things like skin of the animal from animals. Some animals are useful for carrying burdens or drawing carts. Domestic animals are also used to help with heavy farm work in the fields, like bulls or ox. Dogs guard our houses. Sheep, we obtain sheep wool or wool from the sheep. Do you know the excreta of domestic animals is useful to human beings? This is indirect use. The excreta means the urine or the dung. Now let us see. The dung of cattle is made into dung cakes. So they make dung cakes. They are combustible. Combustible means you can burn. Combustible means you can burn the cakes, and they are used in some places as fuel. So in the villages, the dung cakes are used in the kitchen in order to cook food. When they burn, they give out smoke. The smoke is dangerous to the women who are working in the kitchen. So they can fall sick. So now this practice is not there. We no longer use it as fuel. A combustible gas or the gobar gas is also obtained from cattle dung. This is the second use or the third use. The second use where we have discarded. So now this becomes the second combustible gas called the gobar gas. Gobar gas is also obtained from cattle dung. There is a pit and some arrangement of a cylinder over it, and that turns the dung into gobar gas, and the gobar gas is used as a fuel. It burns without smoke. So it is advantageous to burn gobar gas rather than burning the cow dung. Cow dung is a dirty uh, form of fuel, whereas gobar gas, it is very clean form of fuel. It burns through, it can be carried through pipes, and stoves can be burnt on gas stoves can be burnt on this gobar gas. The third use is cattle dung is used for plastering mud houses. This takes place in villages. Nowadays, even the villagers are not using cow dung for plastering mud houses. Then you have fourth use. Manures made from cattle dung and sheep pellets are used for plants. Farmers use them for growing crops. The fifth use you can call is from the byproduct obtained from the gobar gas plant. The byproduct obtained from the gobar gas plant, it also is a manure. This is a better form of manure that can also be used in the agriculture. So this form of agriculture, using manure from the gobar gas plant or manure from cattle dung and sheep pellets, this is a good form of manure, and this is contributing in organic farming. Nowadays there is too much of demand for products obtained from organic farming. Animals are our friends. Here we can see the horse is being used to in order to carry the people or the load. Then you have the goat used for milk, and then you have the dog. Dog is useful as a friend. Then this is a milk van. Milk, it is carrying milk. So milk is obtained from cows and buffaloes. Then the dog, it guards our houses or other establishments. Then we are using cat as a pet. There are different animals also used as pet, like a parrot or some other animal. They are used as pet. Just as we need animals, we need plants too. Plants give us food grains, vegetables, and fruits. We love flowers too. So, what are the requirements which we meet from the plants? The food grain, one. Two, the vegetables. Third is the fruit. Fourth are the flowers. Flowers also we get from the plants. We use them for many different purposes. We get flowers from plants. We also get cotton wool from plants to make cotton clothes. So there are cotton plants from which we get cotton wool, and from cotton wool we can make clothes. We grow plants that are useful to us methodically. We sow seeds. We methodically means using some methods, standardized methods, which can give us better production. We make sure that they get water. First we sow seeds. The method which we follow is first sow the seeds. Then we water the plants. We make sure that they get water. Then the third is we give them manure when necessary. Third. And fourth is we spray pesticides if they are attacked by insects. Sometimes we find that there are insects on the plants. The insects will damage the crop by eating away. So we have to spray pesticides. Pesticides will are liquids which can kill the insects. That has to be sprayed. The insecticide has to be sprayed on the plants. Plants to give us abundantly. Abundantly means sufficient, more than sufficient. They satisfy our needs. We give the plants the things which we give the plants, and the things that we obtain from the plants. What are the things we obtain from plants? Well, in the first paragraph we have written here. Plants give us food grain, vegetables and fruits, and cotton wool for making cotton clothes. Other living things also get their food from the environment. Sheep, goat, buffalo, cow, all of them get their food from the environment. Chameleons eat insects when they are hungry. Some snakes eat mice and frogs. Tigers eat deer. Goats and sheep eat leaves of plants. Cattle eat grass. Animals like monkeys and squirrels live on trees. You can see the monkeys on the tree below. It gives them certain advantages. So, what are the advantages? The tree being at a height, when they are on the tree, they are at a height. So, they are better able to defend themselves from their enemies. Who can be their enemies? The tiger and the lion are the enemies of the monkeys. So, where do the monkeys take shelter? On the trees, which are at a height. Besides, they can eat fruits of the trees to satisfy their hunger. Such animals are said to be arboreal. Arboreal is a new term. Arboreal is a new term. So, what does arboreal mean? Arboreal comes from the Latin word arbor. Arbor means tree. And then arboreal means living in trees. The word arboreal is derived from the word arbor. Arboreal comes from the word arbor. Arbor means trees. Arboreal means living in trees. Here you can see all the arboreal animals. The monkeys, the squirrels, the birds along with the nest, and there are birdlings inside the nest. These are all arboreal animals. Unknowingly, they help the tree with whose support they live. These animals, arboreal animals, need the support of the tree, and they help the tree also. How do they help the tree? As they move around here and there in the surroundings, they spread the seeds of the fruits they have eaten through their droppings. So this is the first. How do they help the trees? By spreading the seeds of the fruits they eat. So what happens with this if the seeds are spread? Because of this, new trees grow in different places. The tree cannot by itself carry the seed to the other parts of on the land. So the tree is fixed in the soil. So this tree, if it has to grow, if it has to send a seed over here, at a distant place, it cannot move by itself, or it cannot throw even the seed. It cannot throw the fruit also. So what happens is, these animals, they eat the fruit, and they may throw the seeds. These animals can throw the seeds, whereas these animals, when they eat the seeds of trees like banyan tree, the banyan berry, if they eat, they will through their droppings, the seeds will spread in different parts, and there the seed, when it receives rain, it starts growing and becomes a tree again. Some types of birds too find trees useful for building their nest. So the bird here, you can see, it has built a nest inside the tree. An egret rides on a buffalo's back. Egret. You can see the egret. One, two. What are they doing? They are riding on the back of the buffalo. So you can see them. If you happen to go to some remote place in the villages, you will find that the egret is riding on the back of the buffalo. What's the reason? Why does the egret do so? A certain kind of egret feed on different kinds of insects. Grass is full of all kinds of insects. But because they are hidden in the grass, the egret cannot see them and catch them. Now the egret is sitting on the buffalo. If it directly goes on the grass, it will not be able to find the hidden insects. Now, as the buffalo treads on the grass, it frightens the insects, and the insects fly out of the grass. The egret on the buffalo's back makes no mistake in swooping down to catch and eat them. So, there are two actions. The buffalo should tread on the grass. Buffalo treads the grass. Buffalo treads the grass. Insects fly. Insects fly. And egret attacks them. Egret attacks and eats them up. We have 3 seasons: the summer, the rainy season, and the winter. These are the 3 seasons. It is very hot in summer. Hot in summer. So we wear cotton clothes. In summer we wear cotton clothes and drink plenty of water. Because it is very hot in summer, we wear cotton clothes and we drink plenty of water. In rainy season, the second season is the rainy season. Second season, rainy season. We use umbrellas or different kinds of raincoats and hoods. This is a hood. To avoid getting wet in the rain. To protect ourselves from the rain, we make use of umbrellas. One is umbrella. Umbrella 1. 2 is raincoat. And third is the hood. This is the hood, third. To avoid getting wet in the rain. Now the third season is winter. In winter we wear woolen clothes, woolen and other warm clothes to Why do we wear woolen and other warm clothes? To protect ourselves from the cold. Woolen or warm clothes, they give us protection from the cold.